Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight on Channels Television. I am Tayo Salam. Of course, this is a brief version of the show, so we're going to be cutting straight to the chase. The World Cup is on a minute break because the quarterfinal pairings is going to be starting on Friday. We're going to start our build-up to those games on the show. I'm not flying solo. My guest is going to be joining me on Zoom. Favor Itwa is his name. He's a sports journalist and analyst. All right, Favor, what's up, Favor?
Yeah, I'm very good, Tayo. Good evening to you.
It's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, nice. It's been a long time.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to be coming to you very soon, so just hang in there. But before then, let's talk about the National Sports Festival. And we've got updates coming from that competition for you going on in Asaba Delta State. We're going to be telling you about what the table looks like, starting with Delta State. Of course, Delta State still setting the pace. They managed to put daylight between them and the other states, as you can see from the medal table. 129 gold medals for Delta State. There's also 68 silver, while they've won 45 bronze for a total of 242. Bayelsa State, as you can see, are a distant second with 31 gold medals, 21 silver, and 38 bronze medals for a total of 90. Edo State on 24, 35, and 62 for a total of 121. After 7 days, Delta State clearly are the pace setters when it comes to the 21st National Sports Festival going on in Asaba Delta State. And it's not surprising for a lot of sports followers in the country to see Delta State dominating the National Sports Festival. That's what they've been doing for the past 3 editions. So I think it's safe to say now that congratulations to Delta State, even though the competition is not over totally. Favor, let me bring you quickly on Delta State and how dominant they've been at the 21st National Sports Festival. I want to believe you're not surprised by the performance at all.
Yeah, I am not surprised. I mean, if you want to mention state you tip to win the National Sports Festival, Delta State will always come first. I'm not surprised. I mean, they really prepared towards this. Anytime the National Sports Festival is coming up, one thing I think is working for Delta State is the fact that they have a wonderful welfare package whereby, athletes would want to leave their own state to represent Delta State because, of course, they know they can, be well taken care of. After the National Sports Festival, we see cash being doled out by the government of Delta State. Aside that, we also have, the sports, ministry, ensuring that they are intentional about, developing sports in the state. Look at the athletics aspect. You see that majority of them, of course, have all come from that region in the past and even in the present. You look at also in the aspect of, other sports too, they've been coming up. And I think for them, I mean, they are hosting. Remember what they did in those states? They promised to surpass what they did in those states. And the competition is, about winding down. Look at where they are. Second place team of the second place state, Bayelsa, not even close to Delta State as regards the gold medals won. So I feel it's just to, lose. They've shown consistency in the last few years. They've also shown that it will take a lot to take them off that position, even in the next National Sports Festival. So far, so good. It's going well for them. And I think they can tell themselves they are the home of sports when it comes to sports in Nigeria.
Yeah, they must be doing something definitely right in Delta State, and that's why they've been so dominant when it comes to the National Sports Festival. So many talents are coming out from that part of the country. Let's still talking about the National Sports Festival. Let's tell you about the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare. He's been commending the organizers of the competition for putting in place fantastic sporting facilities for these athletes to use. We're going to listen to Sunday Dare now talk about these incredible facilities that have been put in place for the National Sports Festival. He's insisting that Nigeria must continue to build standard facilities befitting to host international competitions like the FIFA World Cup as well as the Olympics. Of course, when it comes to sports development, one thing is very, very key: infrastructure, facilities, because you can't develop sports without actually having the facilities for these talents to actually, use. Let's take a listen now to the sports minister.
Without infrastructure, you cannot develop sports. This is beyond brick and mortar. What you have in Delta, as big and as beautiful as those indoor sports are, if you walked in and they were empty, that means it's just brick and mortar and it's useless. But you walk in, you go to the gymnastics, whatever, you see the equipment there. You go to table tennis, you see table tennis there. You go to wrestling. It is talking about not just brick and mortar, but also the equipment that is in there. It's part of the sporting infrastructure. So we need infrastructure to make this work as sports as industry.
As the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Derek, commending the organizers of the National Sports Festival for putting in place fantastic facilities for usage by Nigerian athletes. Let's get on with the show now, and let's quickly touch down with what's going on with the Nigeria Women's Professional Football League, Nigeria Women's Premiership. Match day 2, we've got the results for you right there. Heartland Queens are losing against Delta Queens. A fantastic victory for the Deltans. Royal Queens as well got a 1-0 victory over Niger Rattles, while former champions Rivers Angels defeated Oshun Babes. That's in Group A. Let's go over to Group B now. Let's check out the results of the games played in that zone. FC Robo and Nasarawa Amazons played a goalless draw. Ibom Angels 1-0 over Abia Angels, while Edo Queens defeated Confluence Queens by 4 goals to 2. So those are the results for you played on Wednesday on match day 2 of the Nigeria NWFL Premiership. That's a top flight of Nigerian football when it comes to women. Let's leave that quickly. Let's go to the guys now. The league hasn't started for the guys, but there's a preseason tournament going on in Remo. We've got results of that for you as well, to match day 2 results. There you go. Bendel Insurance losing against Aimba and a 7-goal thriller. What a game that was. The People's Elephants are prevailing by a single goal. The other matchup ended 1-1 between Shooting Stars and Rangers International. So those are the games that were played today. Of course, action is going to continue tomorrow as well, too, and we have the fixtures for you. It's going to be Aimba taking on Shooting Stars. Remember, Shooting Stars are back in Nigerian Professional Football League. There's also Bendel Insurance as well, too. They'll be taking on Rangers International. So it's the NPFL Super Cup. It's a preseason tournament, and all these teams are using it to get ready or to prepare for the start of the Nigerian Professional Football League. All right, it's time to talk about the FIFA World Cup. 32 teams started this competition. We're down to just 8. The quarterfinalists have all emerged, and we're all excited. We can't wait for the competition to start again on Friday. I'm going to bring in Itwa now. Itwa, quickly, let me get your thoughts on the competition so far, because according to the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, he says we've just witnessed the best ever group stage at the World Cup. I don't know if you agree with him or not.
Yeah, well, I agree with him. Before now, the World Cup, we all had, concerns about a lot of things, heading to the World Cup, precisely the host nation. But I must say, football has really, come on to win at the end of the day. We've seen fantastic results, surprising results in the group stages. Not forgetting also Saudi Arabia defeating Argentina, Japan getting the best out of Germany. We saw lots and lots of revelations of the tournament. Interesting group stage we had. Some teams you would think will be in the next round did not qualify to the next round. Germany was one of them, and we saw how they were sent out of the World Cup. Not also forgetting Belgium, who of course are among the rankings. They're in a very high place in the rankings. They also could not make it to the next round. And also I want to talk about the African countries that played in the group stages. They gave it all. They gave it a good fight. They were not like the punching bag in the team. We saw the fight from Cameroon, despite the fact they didn't qualify. We saw how Ghana almost qualified. And then, of course, Morocco and Senegal made it through to the round of 16. I think for the Africans too, they also gave a good run for themselves. They were able to show interesting stuff, knowing fully well that this is the first time the African teams were going with indigenous coach from different countries. Everyone had their local team-based coach, go to the World Cup for the first time ever, and they didn't really disappoint. We saw what happened, of course. Not forgetting the man of the moment, the rave of the moment, Walid Regragui, the coach of Morocco, was once again written his name in the sands of time.
Yep.
Making sure that Morocco, make it through to the quarterfinals for the first time in their history, and of course the first African country to make it to the quarterfinals. For me, it has been fantastic. We've also seen interesting records being broken. Olivier Giroud is now the highest goal scorer in France. Not also forgetting, Harry Kane is one goal shy of beating Wayne Rooney as the joint top highest goal scorer in England. Also, having Gonzalo Ramos also scoring the first hat-trick. These are many more that has been the revelation of the tournament. So far, so good. I would want to join my voice with FIFA President. It's been an interesting tournament so far.
I agree totally. Let's not also forget that for the first time in FIFA World Cup history, every continent was represented in the round of 16. That's an incredible feat, you have to say. Let's take a listen now to the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, explaining why this World Cup is truly the best ever when it comes to the group stage.
The best group stage of a World Cup ever. So this is very promising for the remainder of the World Cup. But the matches have been of great quality in beautiful stadiums. We knew that already. However, as well, the public who was there was incredible. Over 51,000 on average, record-breaking figures on TV. We are already at over 2 billion viewers, which is really incredible. 2.5 million people in the streets of Doha, and a few 100,000 every day in the stadiums, all together, cheering together, supporting their teams. Fantastic atmosphere, great goals, incredible excitement, surprises, small teams beating big teams. Well, there are no more small teams and no more big teams. The level is very equal. For the first time as well, national teams from all continents going to the knockout phase for the first time in history. This shows that football is really becoming truly global.
As a FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, speaking on the World Cup so far in Qatar. Of course, starting on Friday, we're going to be going to the quarterfinals of the competition. Some very interesting fixtures to look forward to. France versus England, Netherlands versus Argentina, Brazil will be taking on Croatia, and of course, Africa's hopes. Morocco will be taking on Portugal. Would they, manage to go into the last four again? It will be Africa's first time in the semifinals of a FIFA World Cup. Itwa, let me ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot. You saw how Morocco navigated their way past Spain. What are their chances against Portugal, another side similar to Spain?
Well, for the Moroccans, let's also let ourselves know that the kind of football they play in Africa is not like what we play in the West African side. I mean, they keep the ball on the ground. They are a bit more tactical when it comes to, playing football. But I think this particular game will be different. Portugal, they are a side, of course, who have shown that they've got depth in squad. They've got players who can also grind a result without a talisman, talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. So I think for Morocco, first of all, they'll dare to believe, they'll dare to dream. If they've got to the quarterfinals, if it is Spain, who of course are ranked amongst the top 10 in the world, they can also tell themselves they can get the best out of Portugal. But Portugal, I think they are more direct than Spain. I mean, they know how to dig deep to get the result.
True.
In as much as yes, we've seen upset in this tournament, I'm not going to rule out Morocco, but I'm also going to say it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be as same as what we saw against Spain, but expect the best. But if they defend deep the way they defend against Spain, I think they might not be lucky this time around. So for me, it's just going to be take your game, take your chances, be clinical in front of goal, and avoid being complacent. And maybe you can just punish the Portuguese. But I see the Portuguese to go through.
All right, we'll see. We wish Morocco all the best in that quarterfinal matchup against Portugal. One thing is definitely very certain: Morocco will be going into that game very, very high on confidence. So we know that they might just surprise Portugal in that fixture as well too. Itwa, I'm going to ask you about your most disappointing country at the World Cup. I mean, there's a lot to pick from. There's Belgium, there is Germany. I mean, I think those two are likely to top the list of most pundits when it comes to disappointing performances. But before then, before I ask you, let's tell you another fallout coming from Belgium after they failed to make it into the last 16 of the competition. The first was to go was the coach, Roberto Martinez. And now we're hearing that Eden Hazard has now retired from international football. Surprise, surprise.
Well, I saw it coming, especially knowing fully well that this is the golden generation. The average age of players in the Belgium side, 27.7 and above. And you also look at the fact that he has played, this is not his first World Cup. He played in the last World Cup, played also in 2014 and, of course, 2018. So you look at Eddie Hazard, he has been having a series of issues when it comes to his fitness, when it comes to his attention. He's not been the best when it comes to the last World Cup, of course, and how he's been playing in his previous club before coming to Real Madrid. For me, the disappointing country
48.
so far amongst Germany and Belgium, I would pick Belgium, knowing fully well that Belgium, the players have been together for a long time. When you compare them to Germany, of course, you look at the players, it's mixed with new players, players who are coming to play together, for the first time, in a long while, compared to the Belgians who have been together, the likes of Yannick Carrasco, the likes of Lukaku, also Eddie Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne. You should expect better from what we saw. And of course, this is the golden generation that we might not see some of them again. Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld. These are players who have gotten to the peak of their career and may not be at the next World Cup. So Belgium, this would have been their best chance to at least get something after they've come close, several times, especially for the 2018 World Cup, where of course they went out as the third place winner.
All right, Favor, you're right there. So I'm going to stop you. Belgium, the golden generation, the best they could come up with was a bronze medal in Russia 4 years ago. I want to thank you for your time, Favor. Hopefully we get to do this again very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ty, for having me.
All right, cheers. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your night. I am Ty Salam.